life is about figuring everything out, and there is so much pressure to have it all figured out by a certain age. I am about to turn 26 literally in 2 days, and I do not have my finances figured out. And there are people my age, and I see them on social media and I see them here on YouTube, who are making way more money than me and who have way more investments than me and who own property and who are doing this and doing that and doing that. And if I compare myself to them, then I go down a spiral. But it's okay that I'm not in the same place as them, because I'm on my journey, and that's what matters. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, I have a pit in my stomach. Today's video is going to be the monthly money update for the month of July, but it's not going to follow my usual format for these videos. This video is going to be more heart-to-heart style and just a lot more informal. I have so many things like on my chest that I want to say. That's why I feel like that pit in my stomach right now, because I've had a lot of stress about money in the last week, I want to say, and I just want to talk about it and be super like raw and honest with you all, and just let you in on what's going on and how I've been feeling about money. I made a little cappuccino and it's very hot. I was excited to drink it, but it's gonna have to wait a moment. So in this video, I have a few sort of talking points on my phone that I want to go over. I want to talk about pressure from others. I want to talk about the freak out that I had last week. I want to talk what felt good this month, what felt good about money this month. We will go over what I spent, and I also want to give you guys a prompt for a Q&A. So I think it is about time that we do a personal finance Q&A. It's been a long time since I've done the last one, so let's do that right now. If you guys have any questions that you would like to ask me so that I can answer them in a video, leave them down below in the comments, and I will also make a Google form link if you prefer to be anonymous, so you can click that link down below and enter your questions there, or in the comments, of course. Overall, we're just gonna chat about how the last month has been, how I've been feeling about finances, what's been going on, and kind of just a general life update at the end as well. So I really hope you will enjoy this video. If it is your first video that you are watching from me, welcome. I would love for you to subscribe, and I have a ton of other personal finance content on my channel that I will link down below for some playlists if you wanna get into a binging kind of mood. So for those of you who watch my vlogs, you may have seen that, I think it was in my last vlog, I posted some clips of like, I was really upset on Friday. This was Friday of last week, so pretty much a week ago from when I'm filming this now. I sat down to do my typical monthly money format, and I was overwhelmed with anxiety to the point where I started crying, and I couldn't stop. I had to like stop what I was doing, call my best friend, and just get brought back down to earth because I was so incredibly anxious. It makes me sad that, like, I feel sorry for myself that I experience these feelings all the time, because I know that they aren't necessary. I know that there is a life out there where Zoe doesn't fuss and stress about finances, and I know that there are so many people out there who live life like that, and people out there to them, following a budget is easy, and like sticking to a budget is easy, and not spending a ton of money is easy. Like, there are people out there that are like that, and for me, I'm just not like that. One of the big things that, like, the kind of theme, I guess, and what I really want to talk about today is the pressure from others, because I have been experiencing that literally my whole life, you guys. Like, this comes before YouTube, that I felt pressure from others. And we can all feel this in different ways. Like, I was just saying, some people don't have that fussy feeling about money. To some, money is very like fluid, and it is what it is, you know? I think if you grew up with parents who had like a lack mentality, parents who were stressed about money, parents who were struggling with money, probably you don't feel that way. Like, I know from the comments, a lot of you who feel similar to how I do grew up struggling with money in one way or another. So I really sympathize with that. But you know, sometimes some people don't struggle with money. Some people struggle with their weight, or they struggle with food, or they struggle with other kinds of like problems. We all have problems. Oh. We all have problems, and to judge someone for what they are going through, for what they struggle with, like if eating healthy for you is really easy and you want to sit there and judge someone who has trouble eating healthy, like that's just not fair for that person, because what's easy for you might not be easy for them. And so I experience a lot of comments in real life and from people, of course, on the internet, where it's just like, well, why can't you just like follow a budget? Oh, here you are struggling again. And those comments just aren't fair. And those comments eat away at me in my everyday life. And that is what was going through my head when I was preparing to film that video, was all of these comments I've heard my whole entire life, whether it's in real life or on the internet. And it caused me so much anxiety. And I will insert a clip of literally like live filming what started happening to me. It was very bad. And there were other clips like, oh, anyway. I need to find a way to brush off these opinions from others, because being someone who does put my life on the internet, it's like, well, what do you expect? Of course people are gonna have opinions of you, and you need to brush it off, but it's not that easy. It's not that easy. And I'm sharing this with you because you may not put your life and your finances on the internet, but you may still experience these comments from others. And so I wanna let you know that it's okay that they affect you. It is okay. And your feelings are valid, that if someone says like, oh my God, you pay that much in rent, like, eee, that bothers you, and that might bother you for months on end. Every time you pay your rent, you might think about that comment. And I'm giving that example because I experienced that firsthand. Before I was filming money videos on YouTube, I was working corporate. And I had a coworker who, we started work at the same time. We both made the same salary. We knew how much each other made. And this person would always make comments about my rent and my lifestyle, and basically just judgments on my life and the way I choose to live my life. And these comments would eat away at me. This person had a much smaller and less expensive apartment than I did, and would always tell me, oh, Zoe, you gotta move, you pay too much for rent. And even though I loved my apartment and I had a way of like budgeting at the time that I felt worked and that I felt like I could afford this place, that person's comments made me feel like I didn't deserve to live where I lived, that I shouldn't be doing what I was doing, stuff like that. And at the time, I did have really, really bad shopping habits. Like, I would go shopping for clothes almost every single day after work. And this person, I guess, knew that and would see that I always had new clothes and blah, blah, blah. And they would comment on that. And while, yes, they were right that I shouldn't have been shopping so much, them making those comments and like I would feel so much shame did not stop me from shopping more. If anything, it made my anxiety worse, and I would shop to soothe my anxiety, so it made the tendency worse. And now I'm not blaming this person, because, you know, if you want to go around and make comments, like, that's on you. It's up to us as like anxious people to learn how to deflect those comments, but that doesn't mean it's easy. I also had a family member once tell me when I first got this apartment that I was going to become house poor, meaning that I would spend all of my money on rent and have nothing left. And this comment was made at a time where I felt very celebratory. I was really excited about my new apartment. I was really excited that I had just graduated and was just starting a new job. And this comment like crushed me. And so I'm just sharing that, like, I've always been so susceptible to these comments. And I don't know if it's gonna be through like meditation or affirmations or therapy or what, but if I'm going to move forward with these videos, I need to find a way to brush them off. Because the comments in real life get to me and the comments online get to me, and it's very difficult. Now, it's funny because like I was saying, to some people who don't have this like financial anxiety, these comments don't bother them. Or sometimes you just learn like over time to brush them off. Like growing up, people would comment on my body like all the time. I feel like this is like effed up, but like that's the experience of like being a girl and being a woman, is like people feel this right to comment on your body. And so girls would tell me that I had a muffin top or that I had fat in certain places, and boys would tell me that I was too skinny. And I grew up like elementary school, high school, hearing these comments about my body. And it got to the point where I had heard them so much that I got to just decide that I didn't believe in these comments, and also that they are like contradicting. You're too fat, you're too skinny. Okay, well, like what the F? So those comments stopped bothering me. And now to this day, when I see comments on my videos about my body being too this, too that, whatever, I'm like, okay, F off, like it doesn't bother me. And so I'm really like, I can't wait, and I hope to get to that same point with comments about finances, because people for the rest of your life are gonna have comments on your hair, the way you look, your body, your money, your job, your this, your that. And it's up to us to learn how to brush them off. But again, it's so freaking hard. I think the move going forward is just going to be to delete any of those negative comments, because they hurt for me to read, and I also don't want anyone else watching that video who relates to the video then to read a negative comment and feel badly about themselves. If you guys have advice on like letting go, I would love to hear it. I really would. Or if you feel like yourself are very vulnerable to comments, like please let me know down below. Like let's have a discussion. I'm starting to get all in my head now as I've like opened up. I'm starting to feel insecure. I always do this. Like I'll film these videos like being super vulnerable, and then I'm like, oh my God, are people gonna take this the wrong way? Like I freak out in my head. So let's move on. I think you guys get the point. So let's talk about money for the month of July. I actually felt very good about money this month. I set some goals in the month of June to just kind of let go a little bit with finances, and just create content that feels good to me, and work on projects that are fun, and just try and have fun without stressing so much about money. That was my goal. And honestly, that kind of is what I did. And as I focused on having fun, I felt less of a need to spend money in order to have fun. So I stopped being like, treat yourself, and like going out for coffee almost every day, or going out for coffee multiple times a day. I stopped doing that. And I really reduced the frequency of my spending, which felt great. So because I reduced the frequency of my spending, it felt as if I had reduced the total amount. And I spoke about this in my video that I filmed called like Summer Money, Money Saving Tips for the Summertime, where sometimes we spend so frequently that either the amount adds up, or sometimes the amount doesn't really add up, but we're in a spending habit, which could, be a good thing to break depending on your personal situation and your finances. So I totally like stopped going out for coffee. It was fine. Like I don't feel like I took any major thing away from my life. And because I had stopped all of those little habits, going out for coffee, getting takeout, whatever, I felt like my finances at the end of the month would be like, mwah, chef's kiss, sublime. So when I sat down to actually look at them, I was a little bit caught off guard by still how high my spending was. And my initial thought was, nothing I do is ever enough. Whether I save money, whether I spend money, whether I have fun, whether I restrict, nothing I do. I sat down and I thought, nothing I do is ever enough. And that kind of crushed me, because when you're working really hard on something and it's not enough, it's like so discouraging. And that could be the same for work. If you're working really hard to impress your boss and they're never satisfied, if you're working really hard at the gym and you feel like you're not seeing results, it's so discouraging. So I was like, okay, the discouragement started, the découragement. Then I changed my tab and I went to enter everything that I had earned this month. And I worked very hard for the past 2 months. I have been pumping out YouTube videos. I have been working really hard on my contracts. Like, I have really been working a lot. I'm not having like a chillaxing, chill summer. I've been working extremely hard. And I really like what I do for work, so that is fine. But then to see that all of my hard work added up to earning less than I had spent crushed me. It really, really crushed me. And that's when the tears came, and that's when I said, I cannot sit down and film this. I cannot walk through all of these things on camera. That's kind of just like when that hit. So here we are a week later, and I'm still feeling pretty down about finances. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel like I just don't know what to do to move forward. And this is not me asking for help or for a roadmap, because I'm not there yet. I'm not in a place where I feel like I can make a plan yet. I'm still in this kind of discouraged place. And I need to feel discouraged for a little while, and then I will pull myself out of it. And that's just how it goes with my emotions, and I know that about myself. So I felt really good about money, and then it turns out it wasn't so great. I do want to go through what I spent, because I have no problem sharing what I spent. And I think that's actually like part of where developing a thick skin is coming in, because I used to get very offended if someone would say, you spent $12 on this, and it's like, okay, well, that's the price it is in Montreal. Like, it might be super cheap where you live, but where I live, it's expensive, or, you know, whatever. So I am pleased that I am starting to develop that thick skin. I think where I don't have a very thick skin, I should say where I'm very sensitive, is about my earnings. Because if I say I spent this much and I earned this much, and then I see a comment or I hear from someone like, oh my God, like, you think you can buy that when you only earn that? That'll just destroy me. I know that comment will hurt me a lot. And it's funny because maybe you guys can notice that I foresee comments. I foresee what people will say, which comes from my own insecurities and the negative voices in my head already doing these negative comments. So that's, I think, also why these comments bother me so much, is because when the comments from others match up with the negative voice inside your head, you start to believe that it's true. If all you have is a negative voice from outsiders, you know, if a voice from an outsider wants to call me stupid, I don't believe in my heart that I'm stupid, so I don't care that you call me stupid. But if I genuinely think, and that's an insecurity of mine, that I am stupid, and then someone else calls me stupid, then that validates my insecurity, and that's what really hurts. So when my family member told me that I was going to be house poor, and I grew up with an insecurity about being poor, ding, 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 they match up and make me think that it's going to be true. So that being said, what I spend is what I spend, and I'm proud of myself for the most part for what I spent. I know that things are crazy expensive right now. Things in Montreal where I live are going through the roof. So I'm happy to share with you guys what I spent, and why don't we jump into that? Guys, it feels so good to get that off of my chest. So freaking good, I can't even explain. I feel physically lighter now. So I've got my laptop on my lap, and let's dive in. Let's start with the totals. On my American Express, I spent $1,065. On my MasterCard, I spent $595.67. From my Coho, which is my prepaid card, I spent $267. I underspent by $133, so I had budgeted $400 for the month. My checking, I spent $373. So my total spending for the month was $2,300, and my total owing is $1,660. I made this side-by-side comparison for June and July, and this month in July, I actually spent less than June by about $750, which is pretty good, and I feel proud of myself for that. So actually, if we compare this to my earnings, I did earn more than the $2,000, but I had made these totals after I calculated my earnings, and I was very scared of what these totals would be. So that's why when I saw that my earnings were like on the lower end, actually like quite low compared to what I'm used to and compared to what I used to make at my corporate job, I freaked out. And we can't forget that this is my spending before my fixed expenses of rent and all of that. So when you do add in my rent and everything, it is more than what I made this month. But you know what, guys? Like at the end of the day, it's actually okay. Like logical me who's not being anxious, knows that I am on an entrepreneurial journey. I am figuring out my life and my career, and it's, I'm gonna swear, it's okay that I didn't make a ton of money this month. It's okay. And like how I need to drill that into myself, and maybe some of you need to hear this as well, is like, we're young, or maybe you're not young, but like life is about figuring everything out. And there is so much pressure to have it all figured out by a certain age. I am about to turn 26 literally in 2 days, and I do not have my finances figured out. And there are people my age, and I see them on social media and I see them here on YouTube, who are making way more money than me, and who have way more investments than me, and who own property, and who are doing this and doing that and doing that. And if I compare myself to them, then I go down a spiral. But it's okay that I'm not in the same place as them, because I'm on my journey, and that's what matters. So pardon my swearing, but I really needed to say that out loud, and I feel like I'm gonna need to come back to that, of just like, it's okay that you are on your own journey, that your life isn't a perfect mirror of somebody else's, that had I stayed in consulting, maybe I'd be making $80,000 a year by now, but I left consulting and I'm way happier, but yeah, I'm way more broke, and it's okay, like it's fine. Okay, so I know some of you like it when I go through all of my purchases one by one. So I'm gonna do that now, and you can just skip forward if you wanna skip directly to the spending by category. But let's run through some of my purchases. So on my Amex, I spent $27 on Amazon, then I spent $24 on Amazon, then I spent $120 on Amazon. Some of this ended up getting returned, so I think about $40 of this, actually more, I think about $80 of this is actually getting returned. But I did have a little Amazon shopping spree, which is very unlike me, but I needed some stuff. $23 at the pet shop, $160 on therapy, another $20 at the pet shop, $17 for QuickBooks, which is the accounting software I use to monitor my finances for YouTube, like as a business. $5 on Bixi, which is the bike sharing here in Montreal. I spent $90 at L'Intervalle, which is a shoe store. I spent $300 at Club Monaco on that frickin' romper for the wedding. That was very ouch. And I'm trying not to regret that one, because in hindsight, I look at that and I'm like, who the F do you think you are, Zoe? Like, you're struggling with money, you stress about money, you lose sleep over money, and you went out and bought this thing from Club Monaco. At the end of the day, I felt really gorgeous in that outfit. I know that I will rewear it, but also at the end of the day, $300 is a lot of money for one piece of clothing, especially. I spent $319 at Simon's, but I returned everything. That was while trying to choose a dress, so spent that, returned it. Again, at Zara, I spent $220, returned all of it. $20 on Uber Eats. That was my only Uber Eats of the month, and it wasn't even for me. It was for Camilla because she was sick, so I wanted to send her like some food. So very proud of that one. I spent another $1 on the Bixi bike. I spent $12 on this underwear subscription that I forgot to cancel, which is really embarrassing. I spent $6 renting a YouTube movie. I wanted to watch The Click and I spent $6 to watch it. Spent $42 at Nordstrom Rack on accessories for the wedding. I spent $30 at Home Depot, and I spent $116 on FedEx, which was duties. Those were all things that were gifted to me by a brand, and then they returned the duties, so I got that reimbursed. So that's that on my Amex, and all of that totaled up to about $1,000, which is a lot of money. It's also lower than times in the past. Like, never forget my December monthly money when I spent like $3,000 on my Amex. Never forget. And you guys can see, like, if it wasn't for stuff for the wedding, that bill would have been way lower, like way lower. So the wedding is what killed me this month. Shout out Kyle and Louise for killing me this month. Worth it though, I love you guys. On my MasterCard, I got takeout for $60. That was for me and my boyfriend. $50 at the grocery store, then $80 at the grocery store. I spent $70 on home stuff, $80 on a parking ticket, ouch. $10 at the dollar store, $5 for Apple storage, $117 to go golfing. That was for my boyfriend and I, plus club car, like a golf cart rental, plus clubs rentals for me. Ouch, it was expensive. Next time my boyfriend can pay for us to go golfing, especially that I only played half the holes because I was so discouraged after. So JS, next round is on you. $10 at the grocery store, $15 at the grocery store, $20 at the grocery store, $12 for my Spotify subscription, $7 to take the metro, $30 at the grocery store, $27 at the farmer's market, and $6 at the farmer's market. Very good. Everything except for golf, honestly. The home stuff, I'm glad I bought it. I needed it. The ticket, ouch. Stop parking where you're not supposed to, Zoe. And golf was an experience, but it was an expensive one. On my prepaid card, for anyone who might be new, I use my prepaid card for the most part for this is like kind of treat yourself stuff. So if I want to go shopping, if I want coffee, if I want takeout, I will put it on my prepaid card. Sometimes I cheat, I'm only human. But this month I actually when I started to see how much I was spending related to the wedding, I told myself to save $100 on my prepaid card, and I saved $130. So that was a win. Because I could have just spent more, right? And it would have been spending on takeout and coffee and stuff like that that don't necessarily enhance your life. So I'm glad that I saved that money. Even though, you know, it pales in comparison to the rest of the spending, it's still a win. So this was all like takeout. I spent $20 at Busan, best shawarma in Montreal, $8 at the pharmacy, $35 on sandwiches downtown Montreal. Way too expensive. They were delicious, but they were so expensive. I got two. $11 for ice cream, $22 for lunch at this place called Beta Pain, very good spot. $10 for coffee, $6 on a card, like a greeting card, like a birthday card, wedding card. $11 on coffee, $55 for lunch at this Lebanese restaurant in Ottawa for my boyfriend, my sister, and I. $65, that was expensive. Dinner for my boyfriend and I. We went out to dinner at like a pub, and it ended up being so expensive. Which, that's actually what's crazy though, is $60 isn't that much for dinner anymore. Like, food and going out is so expensive now. $7 for ice cream, $7 at Tim Hortons, and then another $22 at Tim Hortons. And then someone used my referral code for Coho, so I got $20 back. If you want to have a prepaid card, sign up for Coho and use my code. You will get $20 and I will get $20. It is a win-win. Lastly, checking account. I spent $5 at the corner store, $100 on some investments to a fund, $200 cash for a wedding gift, $56 for supplements, $12 for groceries. I earned $56 selling some stuff on Poshmark, and I paid $60 to the dog sitter. So that is all of my spending this month. Now I will put up on the screen the total spending by category so you can look at that if that interests you. I know this video is getting pretty long, so I'm not gonna go through everything, but here it is on the screen. And my most expensive category by far was the wedding, which is honestly like a once in a while event. It's my first wedding that I've ever gone to like as an adult. It's my first friend's wedding. And I spent $661 in total on clothing for the wedding and gift, like paying for your plate, all of that, which is fine. It is what it is. I'm happy to give a gift to two of my friends, and you know, it's fun to dress up and have a night out. So that was my most expensive category. The second most expensive was groceries. Dining out was pretty high at $364, and the rest was pretty much on budget. Everything else was okay. So I already went ahead and paid all of that off when I did it last week. So everything's been paid off. I did not have to dip into my emergency fund, which I thought I would have to, but I did take a lot of my savings, like my just sort of general savings from my YouTube earnings. I did have to touch a lot of that, especially because I took money and put it aside to pay my rent on the first of the month, which is like in 3 days. So that's kind of that for this month's monthly money video. I feel bad that I wasn't able to do like a normal one, but honestly, you guys, I think moving forward, I'm just gonna adjust these videos and only share what I feel comfortable with, and that could change every single month. I don't wanna put pressure on myself to share things that make me uncomfortable or share things that make me feel too vulnerable numbers wise. You know, like emotionally for me, like nothing's off limits, but when you feel insecure about something, it's not always the best idea to broadcast it and then make yourself vulnerable to comments that can upset you. So that is, I think, how things are gonna go moving forward with these videos. I still hope that you will enjoy them and be able to get something out of them. I still, no matter what, think it's important to continue talking about finances and being transparent. So I want to do my best to keep providing that content for you. Lastly, let's just do some life updates. It's the end of July. I'm going on vacation tonight. I'm going to visit family. We're doing a road trip. So if you want to follow along with that, you can check out my vlogs. That is going to be super fun. The month of August, I have so many fun videos planned. I'm thinking I might reduce my uploads from 3 times a week to 2 to 3 times a week, because I'm spending so much time editing videos that I don't have enough time to film some stuff that like I've been long awaiting filming. So I'm thinking, so you might see a few less videos from me, but you guys probably won't even notice, honestly. And then I'm planning like some fun back to school themed videos and more work-centric videos for the fall. So video wise, that's kind of what's up. Life wise, I plan on keeping working really hard. I'm really enjoying the flow of work that I'm experiencing right now. I am going to be taking a 2-week vacation in September. So I'll be having some travel vlogs later on in September. And yeah, otherwise, like aside from this feeling of stress, life is good. And life can be both, you know, it doesn't have to be all consuming stress. Like we can corner the stress in our life into one place and not let it take over everything as well. So that's everything I have to say for today. Hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to leave a comment if you have any questions for the Q&A, or you can use the Google form link if you prefer. I love you so much, and I truly thank you for listening and hearing me out from the bottom of my heart. If you're feeling anything similar, just know that I am with you. We are in this together, and that I love you very, very much, and I'm cheering you on with your finances, with everything in life. So that's that. I will see you all in my next video. Bye.